And right now, if we can hear an update from the region, what's going on, how the situation looks like. And this time, the person who will tell us a bit more about it's Elena. So Elena, welcome, and the mic is yours.
Thank you, Agnieszka. I'm really happy to be here tonight. So for someone who still haven't met me yet, my name is Elena. I'm one of the members of European Scout Committee. I'm coming from Lithuania, so I'm more than well informed about the FOSE and what is the impact of FOSE for local scouting across the regions. So thank you for inviting committee and inviting me today. So from our side, we are really happy that we have this new collaboration with the foundation in terms of clarifying and the funding rules for the projects, and that we, with the support from our office, we are moving on the grant management. We are moving on the regional platform, the tools we are using to help and ease the work for the NSOs applying for the funds. In general, this is the time we already passed the midterm of our mandate. As you know, as you've probably seen and read it, we have published the midterm reports a few months ago, and now we are switching on quite high gear on future planning. This year is already in a few months, we have the World Scout Conference, which will also have impact on what happens in the region, how we draw our future plans, our future triennial plan, which is also in a process of making. So we already have process developed to ensure that we involve the members, we involved all the relevant stakeholders in the next triennial plan drafting, and we proceed with that starting after the World Conference. So it's exciting periods to be also doing and delivering on KPIs, and also to starting looking to the future and how we're going to be shaping the region for next 3 years. As you know, as it's not a surprise, and still many things in national level still do see some signs of hope that maybe even in the summer we can potentially have some small scale team meetings and events for NSOs, not for among the NSOs, and also for our regional structures. So really hoping to come back to the face-to-face and normal scouting as soon as possible, but also in case something happens again, we are really proud to see the expertise and impact we have already made for our scouting and home practices. So as you may know, we recently adopted a paper with recommendations and analysis on how scouting in home can contribute and support our daily activities. So and provide more insights and support for NSOs to deliver scouting from home activities. So that's probably shortly from my side. I'm really happy to stick around for the call, and if you have any questions or on if you want more details on how the region is working, what we are having, what we're doing now, please reach out, raise your hand, and I'll be happy to respond.
Thank you very much, Anna, for this short and very condensed update. The next point of our meeting is very, very often, because very recently we lost one of the very good friends of scouting in Europe, Kevin from UK, and I would like to ask Steve Morton, a very good friend of Kevin, to just say a few words about Kevin and his legacy. So Steve, mic is yours.
Thanks, Agnieszka. So yes, Kevin, many people here will know. Those that don't may well have heard of his contributions, and many may well have seen the fruits of his contributions without knowing what it was. I knew Kevin from when he became a scout leader in the group that I was a venture scout leader in the 1990s, and worked alongside each other very much with many of our friends, initially with Anne Whiteford and David McKee in the UK, developing global awareness work and moving on to do work on the what was then Scout Base, and moved into that into being the international team, and took the opportunity to go on the study visits to what was then Serbia and Montenegro, and to find out how can UK Scouts help Scouts in Serbia and Montenegro. From there, a group of us carried on visiting, but Kevin in particular went back time and time again, built good links with the groups, helped Scouts from Serbia come over to Eurojam, to the extent there was, I believe it was 200 Scouts from Serbia and Montenegro come to Eurojam, which is the biggest contingent they'd ever sent to anywhere. And he contributed personally for some of those people to travel. He worked on developing almost every smotra that they've had. He's either been part of the UK contingent or otherwise has taken a key role in running the event. And often, I don't think our Serbian friends will mind me saying, helping them out of a few sticky situations. And that included making sure they had the safety equipment so that other nationalities could take part. From there, he supported many individual groups to go on expeditions to the UK and other locations, and built partnerships. His work is immeasurable and has given opportunities to tens of thousands of young people across the region. So it was a sad loss when he passed away earlier this month. It was no surprise. He has lived his entire life with different forms of cancer, and he spent the last 3 years fighting a strong battle against cancer, which many people have seen. He shared his stories on Facebook and stayed scouting literally till the very, very end, until about 3 days before he was scouting. So what I want to say, obviously, we all have great respect for Kevin, and he will be very, very sadly missed. However, his legacy will continue, not just in what he has already done, but he's going to be making a significantly large contribution to Friends of Scouting in Europe. Can't disclose too many details at the moment. Obviously, there are processes to follow, but about 40 to 45% of his estate will be contributed to scouting in Southeast Europe via FOSE. Some of it will be very much specific, but it will be a six-figure sum. Certainly one of the largest contributions that we will receive, that we have received. So yeah, I was asked to just have a few words about a few memories about Kevin. I have many from scouting locally, scouting around Europe, and scouting around the world. I think one of the things that makes me laugh every time is we went to Thailand Jamboree. Neither of us like fish, and I'll never forget the time that we'd both learned a bit of Thai, and neither of us like fish, and the Thai word for fish was bleh. So every time he mentioned fish, it'll be bleh. From then, he kept making other similar things across, which I won't divulge. For similar things, some of us will know when we're visiting Southeast Europe. And he made an impact not just what he did, but by being him and being friendly and personable. So his legacy will live on.
Yeah, indeed.
Thank you very much, Steve, for sharing this very personal stories about Kevin, and definitely he will be missed. He will be missed very much. Okay, so next point, it's about the project. That's what we are all focused in so many of our activities. So now I can pass the microphone to Bianca, our project manager. So Bianca, can you please tell us how the situation looks right now and what's going on?
Good evening, everyone. The situation looks very good, actually, how Vivian and Walter just stated. We have funded lots of projects that we received last year. We have another 9 projects that we received since the beginning of the year, and I'm happy to share with you the information that we recently had a meeting to validate all these projects, and we will be funding them. On the project side, because of the last year pandemic, we had some delays in projects, and so we started to receive reports of projects that we funded in late 2019 and the beginning of 2020. It's a normal period. Lots of the projects were written not to home scouting, but to real scouting. So we needed to wait until the activities started to slowly become in live in different countries. So, but we gladly see that Europe is starting to move away from pandemic, and scouts starting to gather slow, step by step. On the project side, we have also some significant changes this year. We will be, from the project's perspective, we will be moving to the World Scout Bureau Grants Management Software System called FLUX. So from the organizations that already applied from the MOEP projects, we will be using the same system as MOEP. So that means that we will be having an automatic project application process. As Vivian mentioned, we will be having a workshop later in May to clarify the process, define all the steps, and get necessary training for us to use the process, the system. And this will impact the receiving of the projects. So we would like to have a period of closure for our projects receiving receiving applications from beginning of June until September. And in this time, we will be having the new website. We will be having the new process, and when we will restart with the new year of scouting in September, we'll be able to receive projects in automatic system. Meanwhile, though, if there are emergencies and projects that need to be funded very quickly, we decided together with Vivian and Abir that we will be able to receive emergency projects if it's necessary. Thank you.